Hey guys, welcome back to Nerd Without Order. This is Walking Dead Wednesdays. We're going to continue where we left off last week. Walking Dead Wednesdays, for any newcomers, is the re-release of the original Walking Dead series, but this time in deluxe format. Now, what deluxe means is that the series is republished issue by issue in full color. Originally, the series was published in black and white. But let's go ahead and continue where we left off. I did last week's issue 1 review. This week we're moving on to issue 2. So issue 2 picks up exactly where we left off in issue 1. Rick Grimes is going to Atlanta to find his family, and on his way to Atlanta he runs out of gas. He tries to figure out what his next move is and comes across an old farmhouse. He ends up goes inside and discovers that the family has been dead for some time, and goes outside, throws up. It's like Rick's not really used to this world. Remember in issue 1, Rick got shot and was put in a coma. As of right now, we don't really know how long he's been in that coma, but obviously he is not used to what is going on in the world right now. He goes out back and he finds himself a horse. He goes and grabs his horse, grabs himself a hatchet, and he sets his path to Atlanta to find his family. On the way to Atlanta, Rick starts reminiscing about the day that his son was born. Ultimately, it just makes him more sad. He originally did this to vent to the horse, to kind of relieve himself of the things that are going on in the world. But then ultimately he realizes that he doesn't have his family, and makes him even more sad. Then we get to the next page. He ends up getting to Atlanta, to a place that he didn't expect for it to look like this. In his mind, he was thinking that people were going to Atlanta or the bigger cities for it to be safe. Obviously, that wasn't the case. Rick shows up and he quickly gets overran by a bunch of zombies. Luckily for Rick, though, the horse took most of the damage. The horse drew most of the zombies' attention and was a sacrificial piece for his survival. He gets kicked off his horse and gets attacked by a walker, and uses that hatchet that he took from the barn, killing himself. That is the second walker that he kills. The original walker, I could be wrong, I can't remember. I think the first walker that he killed was Bicycle Girl in issue 1. So this is the second walker. As he gets up, he realizes, these zombies are tearing into this horse, and he says, "Bastards, what the hell is wrong with you?" It almost seems like Rick doesn't really understand. I feel like he just thinks that the zombies or walkers they're still normal people. That's what it seems like to me, at least when I read this. But he starts using his gun, starts shooting people or starts shooting walkers. In the middle of his fight, he gets yanked by a mysterious kid that tells him, "Hey, if you want to get out of here, follow me." So he takes him down an alley. He's obviously pretty familiar with the area, and he's also pretty familiar with the behaviors of the walkers. As they go up the side of the fire escape, he tells him, like, "What the heck are you doing? Like, come on, let's go." And Rick is just kind of in awe, not really present. He's still trying to take in what's going on. He's not used to all these walkers yet. So they get to the rooftops. He starts jumping across rooftops to get around this horde. Explains that, if they go back down the same way they came, they're still going to be there. So they just got to find a different path to get around the horde. So they get off the rooftops. They make it past the horde, and they start going back. They start leaving town because obviously cities aren't the safest places to be. There's too many walkers in the cities. This kid starts asking him, like, "Hey, where have you been the past month? Like, how are you not familiar with what's going on?" This is where we find out that Rick has been in a coma for the past month. So he's been in a coma for a month. Obviously, plenty of time for the world to go to shit in 1 month. And obviously, this kid's not, he's like, "Wow, I didn't realize that you were gone for a month, or you just woke up." Rick starts asking like, hey, what's going on? Where are all the people that were supposed to be safe in the cities? This kid explains that that was the worst thing for people to do, to be all in one populated area. Obviously, if anybody's familiar with how zombie viruses escape, for the most part, typically in a lot of formats, it takes one bite and all of a sudden you're a zombie within the next day or two, or within the next couple of hours. So this kid explains that that was the worst possible thing for people to do, to go to one city. Obviously, Rick was going there to find his wife and his kid. So he's devastated by hearing the news that Atlanta has obviously gone to shit. But this kid reassures him like, hey man, reassures him that, who knows, your wife and kid might still be alive. And he starts talking, saying that, he has a camp where a guy actually made it out of Atlanta, and the camp is made up of people that obviously got to Atlanta with the same reasons of finding shelter from the zombie apocalypse, but they got there late. Fortunately, they got there late, because now they realize that it's not the safest place. Rick says like, oh, you got a camp? And of course, when they arrive to the camp, sure enough, Rick's family is at the camp. His wife, his son embrace him, and turns out that they were okay. They were one of the latecomers to Atlanta, and they did not enter the city. Overall, it was a great issue. It was obviously more setting up the world still, giving us the rules of what's going on, not using guns. Walkers are slow. Obviously, how the infection spread. So overall, pretty good. Again, setting up the world. And this issue actually ended with a happy story, right? Happy ending for this issue, which I don't think we'll be able to say for future issues. But for the most part, issue 2 ended with a happy ending. I did say in the first episode that I was going to cover the creator's notes, Robert Kirkman's notes. After posting a 14-minute video last time, I don't think I'm going to. You guys are more than welcome to pause the video there to see what are the things that were left on the cutting room floor. Obviously things that didn't make it into the comic. Some of them are interesting, some of them are just like whatever, not that important. And here's the original pitch for The Walking Dead. Robert Kirkman did. Made it seem, I think it was like five pages of just like a setup or a pitch to Image Comics on The Walking Dead. And you guys can pause that on each page. And here we got all the variant covers for the series. I, again, went with the David Finch. For the most part, I'm collecting all the David Finch covers. Not to knock any of the other covers. The Arthur Adams cover looks pretty cool too, but I'm just kind of sticking to the David Finch covers. And that's the original cover from Tony Moore, the guy that does a lot of the art for Walking Dead. And that was issue 2, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the review. We're going to keep doing this review. We did issue 1 last week, issue 2 today. Next week, join us for issue 3. I'm going to try to keep these in order and be more consistent with these video uploads. Thank you guys for watching. Y'all have a great day. Bye.